Yes, guys, what's going on? Welcome to AdamMcKola TV. We are back yet again. We literally went live about an hour, 2 hours ago with some news regarding Edinson Cavani potentially joining Manchester United, and the news that talks had begun between the club and his agents. But now we hear things have progressed very, very quickly. Edinson Cavani is set to join Manchester United in a 2-year deal. That'll be a 1-year deal plus an optional extra for Manchester United, which they can trigger. They love those optional extras in transfers. And a 33-year-old will join Manchester United on a free transfer for a contract worth around £200,000 per week. There's no contract signed yet. We still have to do that, but it's believed the agreement is done. He's flying in for his medical. There's still talks over the agent's fee and how much the agent will earn, but £8 million is believed to be how much the agent wants for this deal. And to be honest, when it's a free transfer, I've always thought this was a usual thing. I know agents' fees take the piss generally, and this is obviously a massive agent fee, but I thought when a player was on a free, they usually took either a bigger signing on fee or a bigger agent's fee, and it looks like that is the case here with Edinson Cavani joining Manchester United. But things have escalated very, very quickly today. We heard rumours from everywhere, from Italy, from Uruguay, from Fabrizio Romano, from England. They were all discussing this potential move for Edinson Cavani, and I initially thought, I swear he was going to Atletico Madrid. They were waiting for Diogo Costa to leave, and he was going to go to Atletico Madrid. Obviously that's not the case anymore, as he flies in from Paris to Manchester to sign for Manchester United. Now we'll discuss what this move means for Manchester United, what this move means for Edinson Cavani, what this move means potentially for our other transfer business. But it does appear to be a panic signing, and I'll tell you why. Because Edinson Cavani is available on a free. If we wanted him, surely we could have signed him earlier. This is the frustrating thing with Man United. We leave things really late. Now, in terms of actually signing Edinson Cavani as your backup striker, I don't think it's actually a bad deal. You get him in on a free. His wages, which have been already reported to be a madness by the British press, but when you actually look at it, £200,000 a week, I think we're paying similar to Luke Shaw. So put that into consideration. I don't think his wages are that much of a problem. His agent's fee might be exorbitant, but when you're not paying a transfer fee, it kind of makes sense. We've got no backup strikers. AdamMcKola leaves in January. Edinson Cavani's clearly better than AdamMcKola. So to bring him in as your striker on the bench, I don't think it's a bad option at all. He gives you a great rotation option. He gives you a great alternative for Anthony Martial. We are overly reliant on Anthony Martial. What happens if he has another injury like he did last season? Problems for Manchester United. What happens if Marcus Rashford has an injury like he did last season? Well, if it happened this season, we could put Martial on the left and put Cavani through the middle. He gives us a different kind of player. Now, there are fears that he's got his injury problems, and he's had a fair few muscle injuries over the last 2 years. But before that, his fitness was generally not seen to be an issue. And I think the profile of the player in terms of his character is maybe the right kind of one to have around the team. I think he'll be a boost around the dressing room. But it stinks for United fans because, one, it's so late in the transfer window, and two, we haven't done any other business. All the business that we expected to come through the door hasn't come through the door. If we got our right winger, we got our left back, and then we got Edinson Cavani, I don't think anybody would be complaining. I don't think anybody would be complaining at all. But it's because of the fact that we've just signed Donny van der Beek, who is a very good signing, but he's the only signing we've made. And now we're bringing in Edinson Cavani with 1 day to go left in the transfer window. It smells like a panic buy. But when you look at it, actually, we need a striker. Is he that bad of a plan B? No, he's not. Yes, if he's injured, of course, it's a problem. But if you get him in on a 1-year deal plus the option for an extra deal, then is it that bad? I don't think it is. So we'll be looking at the latest reports in the British press, because the BBC are reporting it today. So I think we can pretty much say this one is happening. This one's on, pending a medical and him signing that contract. Edinson Cavani will join on what could be a 2-year contract. So this is the article from the BBC, guys. Get your thoughts in. Make sure you're liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, all that good stuff as Edinson Cavani edges closer to a move to Manchester United. And it says, former Paris Saint-Germain striker Edinson Cavani is due to fly into England on Sunday to join Manchester United. The Uruguay international has been in talks with United, and although there is no deal yet, it is growing increasingly likely Cavani will join on what could be a 2-year contract. Cavani is out of contract, having left Paris Saint-Germain at the end of June. He left PSG under a cloud following a disagreement with Neymar and feels he has more to give to European football. So we could be getting a very, very, an inspired Edinson Cavani, someone that wants to prove a point, wants to prove people wrong, and we play Paris Saint-Germain. Maybe that's played a part in his move. He's thought, fuck this, I want to get my own back against Paris Saint-Germain. But we play Paris Saint-Germain soon, so interesting that he's now joining Manchester United, the team that will play them. Maybe he wants to knock them out of the group stages. And he says United have been given a positive impression about the players' desires to play for the club, and providing face-to-face talks confirm that deal and confirm that impression, a deal will be done. It is understood the package on the table does not go beyond the current pay structure, so United feel any comparisons with Alexis Sanchez, who was given a £350,000 a week contract, which he failed to come close to justifying, would be wide of the mark. They also feel Cavani's age is not an issue, and his experience will help develop the younger players in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's squad. It is understood talks over signing Borussia Dortmund's Jadon Sancho have not progressed, although club sources refuse to say whether United's attempt to land the 20-year-old international is over. Remember, Jadon Sancho was not involved with Borussia Dortmund today. He was not in their squad for their game today, and he's not been training this week as rumours continue to fuel around a potential move to Manchester United. But we're talking Edinson Cavani right now, as we look at this latest news in regards to Manchester United and Edinson Cavani flying in for a medical and final talks over a deal that has already been agreed. Lakesh says Evra was right about his club. From a banker's perspective, this is a perfect deal. Now, I think some people are going over the top with their reaction to the deal itself. Like £200,000 a week, it's not that surprising. It really isn't. We're paying AdamMcKola around 150 grand a week, I think it was. Is it that surprising that Edinson Cavani is getting £200,000 a week? Especially when you consider he's coming on a free. He's a free transfer. Of course he's going to get a little bit extra in wages. It makes sense from that perspective. In terms of the panic buy thing, I agree with that. It's clear that this is an Ed Woodward panic buy. I agree with that. But you can't take the fact that the club's business has been poor, we haven't got the other deals that we wanted, and Ed Woodward has reacted late in the transfer window. You can't use those things and make them take away, the rationale away from the actual signing. Because the actual signing, we need a striker. We need a backup striker. It's not that bad. Both Sanchez and Cavani are players past their prime, being paid way more than what they could realistically deliver. A comparison to Sanchez is truly justified, says Aish. I completely disagree. Sanchez was on 350, 400 grand a week. This is not that. He is on what would be probably the average. He is on less than Anthony Martial. He's on less than David De Gea, less than Paul Pogba, less than a lot of these players. And on a 1-year deal, I say it again, with no transfer fee, how can you not use your brain to figure out? United aren't paying £5-10 million in a transfer fee, so paying 10 million euros over a year. Think about it. Use your brain. We got Falcao on loan, and he was a 350 grand a week. I don't think you can compare it to Falcao. Falcao had a serious injury which he was coming back from. I don't think it can be compared to Falcao. I think you just have to take it for the merits that he is. I think we're right to have some concerns for the way the deal's been done, and for the whys the deal's been done, and for the way United have done their business. But actually, we need a backup striker. And I don't remember when people When Chelsea signed a 36-year-old Thiago Silva, or Arsenal signed a 32-year-old Willian, I don't remember people complaining about that then. Willian's on 200 grand a week, bruv. Like, how much money do you think Thiago Silva's on? Do you think Thiago Silva gets paid in Smarties? And I'd rather the money be spent on players than go into the pockets of the Glazers. Although, I don't want Sanchez situations. Although, I don't want that to happen. Like, I think because the media tend to spin the negative side of transfers to United, they always quote, when it comes to United, they always quote the agents' fees, the wages get tripled as it goes through the media. They always do those things. And then United fans, because we're upset with the transfer window, and rightly so, we then cling to those things as if they're fact. Again, have some balance. We've had a poor window. This is a panic buy. Ed Woodward's a tit. They're all tits. We needed to have a better transfer window. But signing this guy, I don't think it's a bad deal. He could get you 10 goals a season. I know he only scored 7 for PSG last year, but I think he only played 23 games in that season. I think he could get you 10 goals a season as your striker off the bench. What if Martial gets injured? Do you want to play Cavani? Or you want to play Igalo? Or you want to put Rashford there and go Daniel James on the left? What is that what you lot want to do? Because I don't. Kicking a Blue says, let's stick with the team and Ollie, whatever happens in the comments. What's your honest opinion on this deal? I think it's a good one if Sancho is on, says Mr. Architecture 1. And yeah, we'll discuss that as well. 10 million a year, Banter Club. 10 million a year divided by 52, how much is that a week? And it's 10 million euros. But 10 million a year divided by 52. And 192 grand a week. It's not that big a deal. Adam, this is poor. I'm fed up with the poor ownership of the club. How can they keep getting away with this every year? Because they've got everyone by the balls. Aditya says this signing could go either way, but if he has the right attitude and the hunger to perform, he could make a difference in this compressed season. Cavani can be a super sub for us, says Sandeep. I will only get excited about Cavani if Sancho comes, says Henry. Yeah, I think that's where a lot of the issues come from, because we haven't done the rest of our business, because we haven't made that right winger signing, we haven't got the defensive reinforcements. Then when you just signed Edinson Cavani, when you needed a right winger and you needed a left back and you potentially needed a centre back, then you think, what the fuck is going on? You waited all this time to make a free signing. Like, it doesn't make sense, does it? What were you didn't want to pay him for a month? What was it? I don't get it. Maybe that's what it was. They didn't want to pay him for a month. They wanted to save on 190 grand a week or whatever it was. Kongwan says far better than Igalo. Darren says he gives us options up front, not a bad move really. Bryce with the super chat says better Cavani than King. Wanted Jovic, by the way. I agree as well. Someone said they'd rather Josh King. I was thinking, are you mad? I'd rather Edinson Cavani than Josh King, and I'd rather Edinson Cavani than Odion Igalo, and I'd rather Edinson Cavani than put Rashford through the middle and put Daniel James on the left. Carey says it's not an Ollie signing. Gavi says, can you stop swearing? Probably not. Kongwan says get Tellez now. Acing because the balance, bro. All of them. Please no, not this OAP. What a complete waste of resources, Charlie. And yeah, loads of comments. As you can see, mixed reviews. Damon Gozo says 90th minute winner against PSG is incoming for Edinson Cavani. Actually, I don't mind the signing. I just hate the circumstances. The circumstances are crap, and we've got a lot of other business that we need to do. If you see Sancho coming in alongside Cavani and alongside Alex Tellez with Donny van der Beek, I think in hindsight it'd be a pretty solid transfer window, but it's probably not going to be the case, and that's why it would be a worrying transfer window. But we keep going. We've got loads more coming. I'm probably not going to be live at 10:30 now, so we'll just keep this show rolling on. We'll do that on this day now as well. I'll be live at 10:30 if something happens, but other than that, we're not going to be live at 10:30 now. So what's the date today? Is it the 4th? The 3rd today. So the 3rd of October. On this day in 1981, the 3rd of October, Brian Robson signs for Manchester United for a record £1.5 million from West Bromwich Albion. Former Baggies boss Ron Atkinson, by now in charge at Old Trafford, also signs Remy Moses from his old club to bump the whole deal up to £2 million. Robson debuts in a 1-0 League Cup defeat at Tottenham Hotspur 4 days later. So on this day, how many years ago? That 39 years ago, we signed Brian Robson, Captain Marvel. What a legend. And also on this day in 1973, Manchester United staged a testimonial match for Dennis Law against Ajax at Old Trafford. George Best turns out for his old pal, and the match programme has been spotted for sale on eBay in recent times. I love that extra little bit that they've added in this book for the On This Day. But that is your On This Days for today. So not only are we talking Edinson Cavani and the fact that he's flying in for further talks, advanced talks with Manchester United, and a medical over a potential move to Manchester United worth a reported £200,000 a week. A 1-year deal will be signed with an optional extra deal on that. Diogo Dalot today has arrived in Milan for his medical and to sign his agreements with AC Milan as he joins the club on a season-long loan. Alex Telles continues to be linked with Manchester United, but as of yet has not joined the club. We'll be discussing that transfer as well. Let's get the latest on Alex Telles as I give you the news that Manchester United and Cavani are looking very close to a deal. The BBC are reporting that former Paris Saint-Germain striker Edinson Cavani is flying into England on Sunday to join Manchester United. The Uruguay international, 33 years old, has been in talks with United, and although no deal is signed yet, it is growing increasingly likely that Cavani will join on what could be a 2-year contract. Cavani is out of contract, having left PSG at the end of June. And interestingly, PSG did want Edinson Cavani to stay at the club. They did want him to stay at the club, but he looked to leave from there anyway. We also heard Atletico Madrid were interested in him. Also heard Valencia. There's been a few teams. I think Inter Milan might have been interested in him as well. They're interested in anybody though, aren't they? He left PSG under a cloud following disagreement with Neymar, and he feels he has more to give European football. As we hear, Edinson Cavani is flying in for a medical and set to join Manchester United. We also hear that Alex Telles' deal could be on the rocks. Now, I think this is a little bit of posturing from Manchester United. They know that if Porto don't sell Alex Telles in this transfer window, then they will lose him on a free next summer. Now, we will see. I think they will crumble and take a lower fee than what they've been demanding. Fabrizio Romano earlier reported United did not want to pay the 25 million euros that Porto were demanding for him. They feel that it's too much for a player whose contract expires in a matter of months, and in 3 months' time they can agree a pre-contract with him on a free transfer in the summer. So we obviously see United and Porto posturing over this deal. 25 million euros. Apparently United went in with a bid that was around 12 million euros for him. That wasn't going to be enough, but talks are ongoing between Manchester United and Porto over that potential deal to sign him, and that's according to Fabrizio Romano and the MEN as well. The MEN also reported that United wanted to sign another striker because they wanted to ease the burden on Anthony Martial, and then we signed Edinson Cavani, or at least I say signed, he's not signed just yet. We're waiting for him to fly in and do his medical. So a lot of talk has been made about his injuries, and let's have a look at his injuries here. I've got them up here. Thank you to Transfermarkt. So he had a groin strain in January that kept him out for 17 days. That was his last injury. Before that, he had a muscle injury in December, which also kept him out for around 13 days. So he's had 2 injuries at the back end of the year and the start of this year, which kept him out for around 2 weeks. Before that, he had an illness and a calf knock, which kept him out for 4 days apiece. He had a hip injury as well in August, which kept him out for 52 days. But beyond that, his fitness has been reasonable, apart from a couple of muscle injuries in the 18-19 season. And then before then, any injuries that he had were like in 2012, 13, 14. So his injury record, whilst he's had a few muscle injuries in recent years, hasn't been the worst, or it hasn't been as bad as some people will make out. His goal scoring record, let's have a look at that. I'm sure you want to hear about all of that as well. Edinson Cavani's goal scoring record, he's obviously played for lots of clubs. He's played for Danubio, he's played for Palermo, he's played for Napoli, and obviously Paris Saint-Germain. And his next club could be Manchester United. At Danubio, in the Uruguayan division, the Primera division, he scored 12 goals in 30 games. And then he moved on to Palermo in Serie A, where he spent 4 seasons or 3.5 seasons and scored 37 goals in 117 games. That earned him a move to Napoli, where he spent 3 seasons and got 104 goals in 138 games. That's really burst into prominence and came onto the scene to the general footballing public. But 104 goals in 138 games for Napoli is some record. Then he went to Paris Saint-Germain, where he spent 7 seasons, and he scored 200 goals in 301 games. And I might be right in saying he's Paris Saint-Germain's leading goal scorer of all time goal scorer. Edinson Cavani, yes, so Edinson Cavani is their all-time leading goal scorer with 200 goals. So he had a phenomenal time at Napoli, phenomenal time at Paris Saint-Germain. He is in the twilight of his career at 33 years old, but being managed properly, hopefully with no injuries, cheap deal in terms of no transfer fee. Wages, alright, substantial wages, but who cares, not in the Glazers' pocket. I think it's a good signing in isolation. When you look at it in comparison to our whole summer, it's a worrying one, because the club are panicking towards the end of the window to bring in Edinson Cavani. Now, to me, it feels like we've maybe tried to sign a few other strikers. There's been talk about Luka Jovic, been talk about a few other players, and maybe we've gone in for them, we've failed with moves for them, and we've thought, alright, let's go all out for Edinson Cavani. Let's bring him in, and he could be here for the next year or two. I don't think the deal's as bad as some people are making out, though. The problem is when it comes at the back end of the window, late on, when you've not got all your other business done. I think if we had just signed, let's say we signed Sancho, we signed Donny van der Beek, and we signed Telles, and then transfer window was about to close, and we announced Edinson Cavani, I think we'd all be like, yo, that's an amazing signing, that's a good bit of business, shrewd signing, not bad at all. But we haven't signed Sancho, we haven't signed the left back, we haven't signed the centre back, we've only signed Donny van der Beek, and now with 1 day to go, we're possibly signing Edinson Cavani. That's when it becomes an issue, I think, and it shows you where United problems lie. Bill JL says with the super chat, Sancho's not coming, so Greenwood will have to stay on the right now. Is that why they have brought in Cavani? I still think United will be going back in for Jadon Sancho, but I think they've done this just thinking in case that doesn't happen, at least we've added some more goals to the team, which shows you exactly where they are at. Why do people only talk about wages when it's United? Thiago Silva will be on more than 200 grand a week. Willian is on 200 grand a week for Arsenal, who finished 8th. Manchester United can afford the wages. He's not on Alexis' wages. Stop comparing it to Alexis. Someone else has compared it to Alexis and Falcao. Pig Risers compared it to Falcao. They are not the same. They are not the same kind of deals. One, the money involved in the Alexis deal was ridiculous. It's not the same in this deal. Two, he's not the same as Falcao. Falcao had, a massive injury. Massive injury. It's the circumstances that Cavani's been brought in. It's the circumstances. Why doesn't Ferguson say something? Says Clinton, what are you on about? Watch Ollie asked to leave the club by next year, says Kun. I doubt that. And Ferguson's not going to say anything. Ferguson covered for the Glazers for a long, long time. A lot of people need to realise that. But there you go. Sporting Wisdom's happy with the Cavani signing. He's buzzing. Zayn thinks Cavani coming in means no Jadon Sancho. Robert says apparently we've made another bid for Jadon Sancho. Nothing that I've heard of yet. But obviously if anything does happen, then we will have it here for you on AdamMcKola TV, on United Daily Live. I'm just checking now for any more bits of news that's been coming out as we hear from the BBC that Manchester United are set to sign Edinson Cavani on a free transfer. 33-year-old goal scorer coming in as United's backup option. Sam Wallace from the Telegraph reported Edinson Cavani is understood to be enthusiastic about the opportunity to play for United, and especially against Paris Saint-Germain in the Champions League. Edinson Cavani with Man United is likely to be 1 year plus the option for an extra year. The deal is agreed in principle, but Solskjaer and Edward would want to meet him in person before they officially sign him. That's what they say in the Telegraph. Agent fees around £8 million he wants. Again, this is what happens when agents know their player hasn't had a transfer fee on him. I hope United get that down, because you don't want to be paying silly fees to agents, really, do you? But for the wages, I genuinely don't get why people are moaning about that. 190 to 200 grand a week for Cavani for a year contract with the option for an extra is literally not that bad of a deal. It's just because of the time that it's come out in the window. It's just because of the circumstances in the window that it makes it feel like a little bit of a stinker. I'd rather Edinson Cavani on my bench than Odion Ighalo. That's for sure. And I like Odion Ighalo. 2-year deal, Adam, not one. It's a 2-year deal, but 1 year plus one, like I just said. If you look at the wording on the BBC's report and you compare that to the wording, so you hear from the Telegraph, it says it's 1 year plus the option for an extra year, and on the BBC they say that it is will join on what could be a 2-year contract. So you know how United always do, like they did with Pogba, 5 years plus the optional one, 3 years plus an optional one. This is what they'll be doing with this one. A year with an optional extra year. So if they want to, at the end of the contract, they can trigger it. If not, they don't. I actually think that's sensible business. Just not sensible timing. Rory with the super chat says, shout out, you've made good points and changed my mind on this. I'm not here to change anyone's mind. Look, I'm not happy with the summer. I'm not happy with the way it's happened. I don't understand why you have to wait until the last couple of days to make a free transfer. I don't get it at all. I'm unhappy with the fact we haven't got our priority signings. And I do think if we made our priority signings and you add Cavani onto that, Cavani looks like a much better signing. And you see what I'm trying to say. The wages aren't that big of a deal. We've not paid a transfer fee. You bring him in for a year plus an optional extra. Let's see what happens. I don't think it's that bad. And when you consider Odion Ighalo leaves in January and he's on 150 grand a week, if you're that bothered about wages, work that out yourself. It's pretty much one replacing the other. And United have stripped their wage bill massively over the last 2 years. When you look at Lukaku, Alexis, Young, Rojo's wages will be getting paid. We've sent loads of people out on loan where their wages will be getting paid. Tahith Chong, Andreas Pereira now. We let a lot of players go, and then the players that we brought in weren't demanding ridiculous wages. When you look at Harry Maguire, wouldn't have been on huge wages. You look at Daniel James, fucking Aaron Wan-Bissaka. You look at Bruno Fernandes. None of those were on incredible wages. So United over the last couple of years have definitely got that wage bill down. When you look at the players that have gone out and the players that have come in, or in some cases just not come in. Jackson says in Cavani, Tellez and Sancho. Jim Jimerson says incompetence, Adam. And that's the best way to describe our board. Let's say though, and this is thinking optimistically, we got Tellez, Sancho in addition to Cavani with Donny van der Beek. The only problem with our window then would be that it took so long. So there is a little bit of optimism in this window, and that optimism is kind of comes from the fact that Sancho was left out of the squad for Borussia Dortmund today. He was left out of their squad for their game. They still won, so they didn't miss him. Erling Haaland getting a hat-trick, but he was left out of their squad today for their match. So interesting there as the rumours continue about a move for Jadon Sancho between Manchester United and Borussia Dortmund. Will that happen or not? Who knows? Who knows? But as we hear for now, United are set to sign Edinson Cavani. He's flying in to meet Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Ed Woodward, finalise his deal, do a medical, and he should be a Manchester United player on a 1 year plus a 1 year contract, or 2 years if you want. United's second year is an optional extra though. He's not match fit. No, I doubt he'll be match fit. If you see on social media and Instagram, he's been trying to keep fit, and but that's not the same as playing football on a regular basis at all. So there you go. What striker did everybody else want? I don't know. If we get our other signings, I don't think it's a bad deal, is what I'm saying. But I don't think we're going to get our bad deals. That's what our other signings. That's why it stinks a little bit. And the fact that they leave it late. Why do you need to leave it late for a free transfer? It reminds me of Fellaini. Remember when we could have got Fellaini for 23 million or something? He had a release clause. We dilly-dallied, we waited, we stuck around, we didn't pay his release clause, and then we paid 4 million more for him on deadline day. It was the most baffling thing we ever did, but there you go. Anyway, you guys can keep all your opinions coming in. This one has definitely divided opinions, and that's cool. You don't have to agree with each other, but I'm sure with Edinson Cavani scoring against Paris Saint-Germain, you'll remember this video, or you'll just pretend you were right all along. Either way, we'll see. Anyway, if anything else happens, we'll keep it up to date here on AdamMcKola TV. Make sure you like and comment and share and subscribing. Keep it locked, and for now, I am out of here.